It's been a little bit. I apologize for that. I've had a lot of dental work done, and unfortunately, that tends to coincide with my days off. And my days off is when I do the shooting of content, which unfortunately means I'm all numbed up, can't really talk on camera. Anyway, that's all done and over with. And today, we're going to talk about pruning lavender. We have lavender in a small form like this one that was recently planted this year. We have this one, which I would say is a medium size. This is the one I grew from seed starting last year. So this is its second year. Here are some larger lavender. These were bought at the nursery and planted at the beginning of this year. And look at them now. They have tripled in size, I want to say. These grew quite well here. Now, regardless of the size of lavender that you're going to be pruning, you should prune it at least a bit. The reason for this is because lavender, as it overwinters, the new growth hardens into old wood, basically, and that is not where new leaves or anything come from on a lavender plant. So because of that, if you don't prune your lavender, your bush is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, but the inside is going to appear to die, and that's basically what it does. It only grows on new growth, so you need to prune it in order to keep it not only the right shape, and then, to keep it tamed, because some lavenders can get kind of out of control, but also just because if you don't, then your lavender plant is not going to look very good in a few years' time. Once it hardens, that wood, you really can't walk it back. So you want to make sure you take care of it right from the get-go. So anyway, I'm going to show you how I'm pruning mine today. And be aware, this is going to look kind of horrifying if you haven't done this before. Lavender pruning is intensive. Now you might ask yourself, what are we pruning with? You could use a pair of loppers, like bypass loppers. That might be the best way to go about doing it. Couldn't find mine. So what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to be using my garden shears. These are shears that I use specifically for gardening. They're pretty sharp, pretty heavy duty. They work well. You're also going to need something to sterilize these between plants. Now, you can use all sorts of things. You can use rubbing alcohol, you can use bleach, you can use Lysol. I'm just going to use what's essentially Lysol wipes. I normally use rubbing alcohol, but I also couldn't find that. Good chance the rubbing alcohol and the pruning shears are next to each other. So anyway, if you're going to prune with if you're going to disinfect with Lysol, then it's just a matter of doing this, right? Just got to make sure that you get it on there for about 15 seconds or so. It's about how long it takes. Let's just rub it, get it all up on there. Like so. Now let's move you in for a closer look. That ought to work. All right, so as you can see here, and I need to check to make sure you can actually see. We'll focus on the upper portion for this demonstration. We'll open this up. This is pretty green, new growth still. Pretty deep in, because this is this bush's first or probably second year, actually. First year here, I think it's its second year existing. What we're going to do is we're just going to start pruning. Now, like I said, this gets pretty in-depth. And yeah, if you look way down in there, I don't know if you can see that, but way down in there, there's not a lot of growth. So, want to make sure that you are cutting where there is new growth and leaving at least a little bit of new growth there. Just not a lot. So, like for instance, Once I get this trimmed down to a decent size, then it's going to be more about shaping. All right, so as you can see, it is roughly a globular shape. I'm gonna trim it a little bit more along the bottom here, just to kind of encourage it to grow more up than out. Just a bit. I like to think of it like giving it a little haircut. So, that's that one done. And just as a comparison shot, this used to look like that. I know this looks drastic, but this is what lavender needs. Again, used to look like that. Now it looks like that. And actually, there's a little bit more that I could do right there. So let me do that before we move on. And actually, now that this is trimmed, I'll show you. What you don't want to do is trim below, like right here. See how if you go further down, it looks like dead wood in there? That's what you don't want to do, is you don't want to cut down into that dead wood. All right. So now I'll show you the trimming that we're going to do on the smallest one. All right, so here's the smallest one again. And this is going to be a little different because it's so small. So small, in fact, I have to adjust the camera again just so that you can see it. Okay. So in this case, I'm really just going to trim to keep it the right shape. And honestly, I think that's all I'm going to do. Just a reduction to keep it a little more orderly. As for the medium one, well, I can show that to you too. Here's this candidate. And this one's big enough I have to adjust the camera again. So because this one didn't grow as thickly as the first one I did, you can kind of really see in this one the different stages of growth, right? So if we look down here, let me get these out of the way. The new growth stops. Actually, I see new growth all the way down. So I can prune this as much as I would like to, which is going to be a lot. Now see, that branch is a little problematic. We'll cut it off here. That'll give me a little bit of new growth right there, which should be fine. I see a new leaf node right there, so we're good. That one I'll cut right there. All right, that's the bulk of the body taken out. Now to shape it. This one I'm going to shape less because it's in the corner. It has some natural bounding there. Well, not natural, but you get what I mean. Anyways, that's pruning lavender. Now, something else is a little side tip. I have heard that you can easily propagate lavender with a roughly 25% success rate through following this easy step. These easy steps, I should say. And I'm going to do that with this one because I grew this one from seed. I know that this is not a patented variety. So, I'm going to take this sprig that I cut off of this plant. Okay? It's nice. It's healthy. If you're going to do propagation, you generally want to do it with the healthiest cuttings that you made. So, that one should be pretty good. I'm going to take it from the tip, like that. I'm going to do this. That way you've got a little poof of lavender and then stem. I'm going to take this and I'm just going to real lightly scratch this bark. This bark is tender. This does not take much. You are trying to get the weathered bark off so that you have access to the cambium layer underneath it, like so. Doesn't have to be perfect, but that's kind of what we're looking for, is that right there. All right, and then you take this and you just stick it in the ground, like so. That's it. So folks, that's all I have for you today on trimming lavender and pruning lavender. This would be considered winter pruning, and really, you're not supposed to winter prune lavender. You generally want to get it done in late fall. We've been a little warm for most of December. Beginning of December was cool, but after that, things warmed up into the 40s and 50s, mostly the 50s. That's Fahrenheit. And yeah, so I felt that I had a bit of time. But now we're looking at another cold winter, another wave of cold winter weather coming in, and I wanted to make sure I got this done before the lavender decided to harden the wood off the rest of the way in preparation for fully going dormant for the winter, and also in preparation for, growing anew in the spring. So I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching. Until we talk again. Okay. Is this thing on? Here are some larger lilac. No. Ow, that was my thumb.